Hey guys, Trent here. The past couple weeks have been pretty unique. I'm sure on one hand you've been working from home trying to remain productive, probably bored out of your mind not being able to go anywhere. If you don't have roommates, you're kind of isolated, so that must be weird for a lot of you. And then on the other hand, some people have gotten pretty unlucky. There's been quite a bit of unemployment, and my sister actually recently filed for unemployment, and it really hit home for me, and I felt like I wanted to do something about it. What I'm going to do in this video is walk through LinkedIn and how you can use that tool completely for free to really network your way into any company and hopefully find yourself a job. In 3 weeks, there's been over roughly 16.8 million people filed for unemployment. And that was actually the peak of the recession in 2008. It's definitely bad, and it looks like it may get worse, and a lot more of you may find your way out of jobs. I've seen recent posts by JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs that they estimate that unemployment could reach up to 15 to 20%. So that's tens of millions of more people that could find themselves out of a job. So now you're asking, okay, if I don't have a job, how do I get a job? Or maybe you're in college and you're thinking, how can I find a job? I've also seen a lot of people on LinkedIn that are currently in college that lost their internship or just had something bad happen because of the coronavirus. So I'm going to walk through what I would do and how to network my way into a company. I definitely start with your network. These are the people that you hopefully know in real life and you have a real reason for connecting with them. And you can potentially leverage that relationship to benefit both parties. And I'll explain how in a second. So just looking at mine, I have 1,628 connections. I know a lot of people from people I work with, people I've gone to school with, friends of mine, and people I've prospected into and connected with. So here are all your connections. So unless you have LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which is right here, which you have to pay extra for, I have because my company gives it to me. You're a little bit limited in your search power here. But what I would do is start with your connections. Think through some of your connections, people that you've known in the past that have done really well for themselves or good people to start with because they're probably in safe jobs at good companies that can help you get in there if you want to. Start that conversation and then naturally it will go from there. So that's one way. And secondly, I would look at your connections, and the more you have, the longer it's going to take. But I would honestly go through and look at different people that may be recruiters currently because they could definitely help you get employed. So for one example, I know I have one friend, Amanda Brewer, someone I went to college with, technical recruiter. So what you could do is shoot her a message or him if they're a recruiter and say, hey, I hope you're doing well. Recently lost my job. I know you're a recruiter. Can you help me find a job? And if you do that for enough people, someone will come through. And think about this as well. Their whole job, their metric based on the ability of getting people hired. So it's actually in their best interest as well to try and find you a job if they can, because it helps them and it helps you. Second way you can find a job on LinkedIn is pretty self-explanatory, but I'll help show you guys some filters that will really make it a little bit easier. So go right here. It's on your top bar. It's called jobs. If you're doing sales, so what I would probably do if I was looking for a job is I would go sales. And then think about where you currently live, or perhaps you want to start a completely new life and go somewhere new. So a cool area that I was actually looking at earlier, I'm happy with my job, but a cool area hypothetically is Denver. So you want to do sales and you want to go to Denver. See what we get. Okay, so we have 12,907 results, and that's a lot. That's a lot of jobs that are on the market. You could go through if you wanted to and look through all of them. I probably wouldn't do that. It'd be pretty timely. So what I would do really just to start is here, you have a couple filters up here and I'll explain them. So date posted. So it's almost like houses. The longer it's posted on the market, the worse it may be potentially. So something I would consider is looking at the past 24/past week. These are fresher jobs with most likely less people who have applied. And there's still that energy around the recruiter of thinking, I just posted it, maybe I'll get a hit recently. So I would definitely consider how long it's been posted. LinkedIn features, this is big as well. So easy apply, that's a feature you can add as well. So that's essentially, let's show that to you guys. So when you go on there, it makes it really easy. You literally go on here and you look at all these different jobs and you just press easy apply. And all you got to do is submit your profile, which your profile should essentially be an indication of your resume in a way. and you just quickly apply. It takes literally 5 seconds. So what you could do is go through all these results and literally just press easy apply. Easy apply. And you could literally do that for all 400, and just by doing it at such scale, most likely you'll probably get a couple hits back in interviews. Something I've seen in the past, if you're interviewing for a job in an area that you're not in, they could potentially ask you to come in and do a physical interview, but everyone's out of the office right now, so it's all going to be virtual, so that actually will be in your favor. So we've explored the easy apply. That's pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and clear that filter. That's something I would definitely take a look at just to do it quickly. And then let's take a look at all the filters here. So you can really refine it down a little bit if you want to go into financial services, for example, sales and financial services. And you're a little bit limited, but you could also do specific areas. So maybe you really like Aurora, Colorado, and Denver. And let's see what we get there. And 221 results. You can really refine it. So that could be interesting. So that's just how you see the broad job offerings, and there's quite a few. So that's how you can do it at scale. The third and final approach, the one I would recommend the most, requires a little bit of research, but it could actually yield the best results. So what I would do is go home right here. You're just on your home page. I would think about what companies specifically are you interested in? And if you don't know any companies, think about what experience you have and what you want to eventually do, and start doing some research and just type in top technology companies to work for. I know I spelled it wrong, but Google Translate or Google will help me out here. So top tech companies to work for. Let's just check out the list. So we're going down here. We're seeing some different companies. Let's see if one catches our eye. So social solutions. Okay, let's see what we got. So what you do, if you figure out specific companies you want to do, you can actually go on here, type it in, and most likely they will have a page, smaller of a company, but you go on here, okay, and you could do this for any company, okay, and you go on here, you can learn a little bit more about the company, you can see who all is on LinkedIn that's within the company, and more importantly, what I would note as well is one person from your school was hired here. That's really interesting, so I would click on that, and I would go to Kevin, and I noticed he went to Ohio University, and I also went to Ohio University. So what you could do if you went to college is find these companies and figure out who from your college went there, and you could just press connect, and you could say, hey, fellow Bobcat, would love to connect, etc., etc. You just want to send a message to get him to accept it, okay? And then once you have him as a connection, you can actually message him. And what I would do is message him and ask him how he likes the company, how it's going during this time for him, like how he's done there, et cetera, et cetera. And then once you build some relationship there, you then can ask him, hey, Kevin, can you introduce me to one of the recruiters at your company? Or are you guys hiring? And get some information from him and maybe get a leg up on other people trying to apply for the company. What you can also do when you're on the company, and this is pretty interesting here, is you can go to jobs. So you can go right to jobs for that specific company, which is always good. And you can say sales trainer. I wanted to go in sales. Maybe I'll go train people to do sales. And you could go on there and then through your conversations with Kevin, you could potentially leverage that. One alumni works here. That's Kevin. What I would also do is I would go to the employees on LinkedIn, and this is all for free, and you guys can do this on your own. You have your filters, okay? And just looking at the filters here, if you want to go to a specific office there, that could be interesting to look at. But then when you're on here, there's only 200 people. And if you had Navigator, you could filter by title, but you can't. So I would just go through here, and I would go down until I find a recruiter, okay? And then once you find a recruiter, like we said earlier, it's in the recruiter's best interest to hire people. It's their job. They get measured on hiring people, and you're trying to find a job. So what I would do is do the same technique. So VP of people, she's a little bit higher than what I would probably go for. But nonetheless, you can read what she does, and she clearly oversees people, and you could send her a message, okay? So if you don't have Navigator, you may not be able to send her a message, but you can still connect her with her. And I would say, hey, Susie, notice you were in charge of people. would love to connect and learn more about potential jobs you have. You could end it there, or you could say, could you connect me with one of your recruiters? And it's essentially just trying to network your way in to get a leg up, learn more about the company, learn more about the employees so you can use that in your interviews. And you can also use these folks to get you to the right people who are in a position to hire you quickly and faster. And that's the third way. So those are the three ways I would do. I would start with your own network, see who are recruiters and what people are working in what companies, and can you use that to network in. Secondly, I would look at the jobs. Like we said, you can easily apply to a lot really fast, or you can be a little bit more tailored if you want, and you can use those filters. And third, I would do a little bit of independent research and look up the company specifically. When you're on the company page, you can look at job postings, and you can look at alumni from your college who work there currently or who have worked there, and try and get some information and either get connected to a recruiter or have them help you with the application so you can show that you did background research, and it will actually give you a better shot to get that job. Those are the three clearest ways I see to find a job right now. There's plenty of other ways, but that's quick, easy ways to network your way in. And make sure to have your profile completely updated. Here's mine. I could make another video about things to look for on here if that would be helpful. But just make sure your profile is up to date. You have a picture, you have whatever you have done, some relevant experience, make it concise. And then you can really start leveraging your profile to find jobs. I hope this was helpful for you guys, and I wish you all the best.